Hi there, indies and future independent agents, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Katlyn Eggar, and I just want to say thanks for tuning in and following this podcast over the past couple of months. We've learned so much, and I just owe a lot to the amazing guests that we've had on the show because we've covered everything from marketing and branding to high volume new business sales and how to take care of your clients without losing the heartbeat of your agency. And I just want to remind you guys that this podcast is all about you and how you can transform and grow your agency in the modern market so that you're able to compete and thrive and scale and grow, but without losing who you are as an agency and the reason that you got into this industry to begin with. And one of the friends that I was speaking with recently said that insurance is the right industry. But if you find yourself waking up and just feeling stuck and not wanting to go to work anymore, you're in the right industry. You just might not be in the right vehicle. So this is just to encourage you guys and inspire you today. And if you've been listening and you feel like this podcast show has been sparking new ideas for you and just giving you that little extra every week to try something new or mull over an idea with your team, then take a moment, click subscribe. You'd be doing me a huge favor because I'd love for you to get notifications on your cell phone as this great content comes out every Monday morning. And don't forget to reach out, send me a direct message and let me know. I want to hear from you what content you'd like us to cover on the show as we dive deeper into agencies. And that's what today's episode is all about. We're going to speak with an independent agency owner, all about what it's like inside their agency. We're going to ask them lots of questions about their team. And guys, Patty Lares is so inspiring. She has created really an agency that is just making such a huge positive impact in the community. And when an agency owner is successful, it has this huge ripple effect on the people around them, the people in their community, the clients they're serving, other business owners in the community, and creating this amazing career for the teammates that join that agency. And that's what we get to hear about today. So welcome to the show, Patty. How are you?
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. I'm honored and I'm excited to be here and see if we could support and inspire and empower other independent agents in the world.
Absolutely. And tell us where you're calling from today, Patty.
So I'm in the city of Orange, California. It's very nice and sunny. So this light coming in is actually natural light. Yay. It's nice and warm. So we're in the city of Orange.
Now, I meant to ask you this in our little chat before the episode, but I keep seeing pictures of a really cute puppy on your Facebook page. Yes. So tell me about your puppy.
She's actually here today. I took her outside the office. I'm like, oh, she's gonna, if she starts to bark. But so her name is Rory. She is a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel.
So it's so funny that you say that because I had some spaniel breeds pop up on like my Facebook feed, and I think Kate Middleton's brother, like the princess in England, like her brother breeds English Cocker Spaniels, and our kids are wanting a dog, so I'm doing all the research and looking into everything, and they're just like the cutest puppies ever. So
okay, well, I have a Cocker Spaniel, and she is the most faithful dog ever. She will not trade me for anyone in the world. Doesn't matter what they're doing. But I have to say, like Cavalier King Charles, they are the sweetest. They love you. I mean, they really use them a lot for therapy. So if you're thinking about your kids, they are full of joy.
Yeah. So that's the one to go with it.
Yeah.
For those of you listening who are not in the insurance world yet, one of the cool things about having an agency is that from time to time you can take your kids to work. And sometimes that's the puppies.
Yes, I have my puppy here.
So fun. So tell us a little bit about your team and your agency.
Our agency's been around now for 20 years. In fact, this year we are, going on to 21 years. We started from scratch. Yeah. So it was just me, myself, and I.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And our team now consists of a total of 13 people, including myself. And, we have from our customer service department, our director of welcome, and our dedicated sales and marketing.
That's so awesome. And
Yes.
starting from scratch 21 years ago, that's no easy task. I definitely want to hear a little bit more about that. But there's something really special about a scratch agency and how you get to know those clients over that period of time too.
Absolutely. I think to this day, I can name so many different names. So the original clients is like, I just talked to someone, in fact, yesterday, and he's like, Patty, you don't remember me. I see you all over social media and all these things. I'm all, oh, and his name is Jose. I say, Jose, I absolutely remember you, and your wife's name is so. Of course, I mean, I have the management system and I can see, but I remember them. Yes.
And I think that's really special that he got to hear you say that, because most of our clients probably do think that we don't remember them, but I mean, they do
Know them
so much to us, right? Because we wouldn't be here where we are without our clients. And
absolutely.
so how long did it take you to get to the point where you could have a team of 13 people? Because you said you opened up day one with just yourself, right? So that's been a process.
It has been a process. I've been, very blessed, worked really hard. I would say after 8 months, I hired my very first teammate.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple months after that, we hired the second person to come in. And I would say within a couple years, there was a total of 4 or 5 of us. Mm-hmm. And then I would say by year 10, then you could say, it just started escalating to 10, 11, 12. We ended up with 13. We have someone now dedicated to our marketing department that helps me with the social media and all those great ideas that we gather from all, other agency owners that come up with all these great ideas. And I'm like, I need help implementing. So, yeah.
Is the marketing department a newer development for your team? Is that something you've added on in the recent years? Or have you always had one?
Well, and here again, I call it the marketing department, but I really, my daughter and my sister take care of it, and they tell me, Patty, this isn't marketing, I should be out and about and getting clients, and you have us like doing all these things here. but they do get to do that sometimes. It started in 2015.
Okay. And I think that's a huge area of opportunity for agencies right now, where even 5, 6, 7 years ago, having a marketing department really just wasn't at the top of the list for agency owners. It didn't mean we weren't marketing, but maybe it was more like a process for mailers or a process for buying leads. And it wasn't about how heavy the social media presence was, or showing up in SEO rankings and video content or what have you. And that's definitely exploded in recent years, and in 2020 more than ever. So I do see agencies adding on roles around that topic more often now than I think what we saw in the past. And I think it's so important to have someone on the team who can who kind of has that as their niche, because the agency owner is already wearing so many hats. So you want to be involved in the marketing because you want it to align with your message and make sure it's on brand, and that you're sending that that you're getting your message out, because you really can't delegate that message to someone else. You have to still be involved in it. But some people just seem to be to have the Midas touch with social media. So you got people, it takes you far.
You got to be very involved. And what I've learned and I've developed with learning through the years is that the way I split that department is this way: 3. It's the power of 3s, right? So whatever we're doing in social media to send a message to our clients, the same message then it needs to be it's community. So we split it into clients, community, and team. So we are like getting the team involved to get them motivated, to get them excited about the same things we are posting on social media. We have some sort of contest going on internally with the team. We create little, flyers, colorful flyers with what they're going to do. Normally, when I start a new promotion, they get, a little gift on their desk, because it all starts at home. And so if they get involved and they get excited about it, then they're able to share with the clients. And then the marketing will just make sure that they're posting in social media. So then we have all the other social proof.
I think that's a really practical tip that we could all implement, is having some themes for the social media pages. And clients, community, and team is a great place to start, because that's where we spend most of our time. And
Absolutely.
the majority of our message is going to center. So what would be some examples of things that would be like, when you think about your agency, what's something that would be on brand for your agency message, and something that would be off brand for your agency message?
Well, like, for example, on brand, it's coming on, right? March. I sharing before we started recording a little bit how it's been, recently. We're just trying to work so hard to just keep the business that we have, right? And so what we're doing for March, for example, it's St. Patrick's. So we have put together these little packages with gold coins. They're chocolates, with a flyer and a message to the team. And we're doing, this is your lucky month, and like all these little things. And so for our clients, we have a referral rewards program. And for every referral that we get, they get a $15 gift card and a $10 donation for the charity of the quarter. But in addition, they get entered into our grand prize at the end of the year, that we give away $1,021 this year, cash.
How much was that again?
1,021 this year.
And you gave that away to a client?
We gave that away, just last month.
Wow. So
yeah.
So tell us how they responded. What's it like for a client to show up and get surprised with $1,021?
Well, that's amazing, right? But just really quick to finish that thought, is that we are going to put in social media and to send to all of our clients that during the month of March, their name gets entered twice. And yeah, because it's a lucky month. So they get entered twice. And in social media, you'll see some clips of the last year's winner, which was just recently given to him. And so we're going to be, showing the clip of him receiving, me giving him $1,020 cash in his hand. And so, yeah. It, they don't have to report anything, right? it's not tax deduction for me, but we'll figure it out. That's something to figure out later. But it's fun. It gets the team excited. It gets the client excited. And the client said this time, he's like, I didn't think it was real. I said, no, it's very real.
Sounds too good to be true. Man, that's just another level of giving back. So what does that do for your team's mindset? What are some of the things that they tell you about these promotions that you're doing in the office? Things like March is your lucky month. Have you seen that make a difference for them?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And, what it does for the team, I feel it takes a little bit of time, right? All of us have different personalities. Some people, that's their nature to just give and just be out and give themselves in different ways. And for some, they're a little more reserved. What I've seen my entire team over and over is, oh, when are we doing the next promotion? Oh, what are we going to do? And so you're getting them involved and getting excited to learn to giving back. Doesn't mean it's just money. But you can give back with your knowledge. You can give back in supporting other organizations within your community. And so it really what it has done for my team, honestly, is a conversation, a topic to speak to our clients about. Did you know that we have this referral rewards program? Like this year, it's creating connection. And creating connection, it can be anything. And we narrow it down to 4 organizations now, and so it's so much easier to talk to a client about and what we do, and so they get excited about it. And I still have not run into someone that says, I don't want to help someone.
Right.
Like everyone is like willing to help and, help. They just don't know how. And, one of my mentors says, people are silently waiting to be led. So lead them. That's it. Let's just lead them.
That's so awesome. So,
Yeah.
you mentioned your team is at 12, 13 people right now.
Mhm.
Have you found that to be a sweet spot, or are you planning to grow and add on to those positions?
Oh, a sweet spot would be 4.
There you go.
you
Reality
know,
check.
reality check. Let's just not get super excited about this. However, here's how what you could do. So at this point 4, right? It's not the power of 3, but more of 4. But you get a leader for each department. So even if you go to 12 or 16, how many, let's say that in your sales department, you can have 4, then you have 1 leader that can lead your sales department. That's perfect. Then if you have your customer service department, then you can have 4 and a leader there. And then you could have, your directors of welcome. And so I've learned to break them down so it's just not so overwhelming.
It makes such a huge difference to streamline those roles. Everyone can focus on an area that lines up with their natural talents and abilities. And it helps everything flow so much more smoothly than the phone ringing. And if it rings, it's like, who's going to pick it up? And
Yeah.
the salesperson and the service person have, those different skill sets and different goals, different KPIs. And so I think it's really smart to segment those things. Um, did did you always have them segmented that clearly, or is that something you had to build over time?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. You have to build that over time. When you first start out, it's just excitement to get going, being independent, freedom, if you will, and not so much really freedom, but heck, I've never worked so hard and enjoyed it so much than, when I started working for myself.
That's so good. It's so true. And I can't even count how many hours we put into our agencies over the years, but it's so fun and I wouldn't trade it.
I would not trade it for the world.
We've learned so much. Our teams are learning and growing, but I'm learning about everything from technology and social media this year to online content and communication styles and all kinds of things that weren't on
Yes.
my radar even a few years back. So
Yeah, I mean, and so to me, when I hear, I love if any agent out there has not, taken that step of stepping into like more of social media or just automation, or learning more of the new technology that's out there, you know, it brings so much opportunity for growth. And if they're not, if whatever's holding them back, my gosh, call me, because I, in fact, spoke with someone just a couple of days ago who can't even take vacation because there's 2 family members in their agency,
mm,
and they want to do a trip together, but they have no one that can take care of their business.
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I volunteered to send one of mine to their office so that they could take a week vacation.
It, that was so thoughtful and I think that agents coming together and helping each other through those type spots really goes a long way, because we hear a lot of advice about how, like, you should be time blocking, you need to have time for yourself, you need to have time for golf, you need to have this work life balance. But if you're just not there yet, sometimes you just need a leg up and you just have to get through that next season of growth. Those growing pains are not
Yeah.
easy. And being an entrepreneur means putting in a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears up front.
Yeah.
So when it came to thinking through, okay, I'm going to start trying a little bit of a different blueprint for the agency. And I'm going to have a sales department and a service department, and there's going to be leaders over these different departments. Can you walk us through that process a little bit? Because we have people listening who are new to insurance that are going to be opening up their agencies soon. And they're trying to absorb as much as they can and be thinking ahead. So, what needs to happen before you end up in a spot where you have too many leaders, too many managers, too many people that aren't selling and servicing, but still have the right hierarchy built out?
That's a really great question. So I'm just going to focus on answering your question and not necessarily what I did. But if I had to do it over again, and being as clear as I am today from what I know today, because there's so much to learn. But I would say for my first hire, if I'm the salesperson in my organization, I would hire my first customer service representative,
Mhm.
and I would be very clear on their roles, which is really servicing, retaining what it means about a renewal, what you do when you take a call when someone has to change a car or a driver. You're just learning to cross sell, learning to just really evaluate the client, the file. And I would just focus there. If I continue to write myself and I feel like, okay, I got this, I now need someone else to support me in the sales department, I will clearly hire a dedicated salesperson. And your department can be one person in each,
Mhm.
but be clear in their roles. um, and if we start to grow, because now we have two sales, myself and another salesperson, and so we need to hire maybe what I call a director of welcome, to support that dedicated customer service rep, that account manager that now has learned to really manage the accounts. Well, he gets a little more support in the answering of the phone, and learning to start taking data. So once you start, like, even with one person in each area, and now you say, okay, so I built it big enough, I now want the world to know about me, whatever, at least your community to know. I'm going to bring in a part-time for lack of better words, my marketing rep, right? And I'm going to talk to this person, and I'm going to share what I see that I want, my community to see about our agency. What makes us unique? Why are we different? And then have that person support you in getting that message out, in your branding and your messaging, where you're posting on social media. They get to see your culture that you're creating within your agency. And then after that, once you have that formula done, all you have to do is add, to each department. And by the way, because you hire your very first customer service and you feel so um, loyal to this person, because obviously they started with you, and they're supporting you and continuing to build your agency, not no disrespect, but they may not have the quality or the qualification that it takes for a leader within a department. So it may be that they were your first one in your customer service department, but they may not be the one that's going to get to lead the rest of your hires. I learned that the
Mm.
hard way.
Right. Because that seniority and that tenure is so valuable to the agency, but it might be just a completely different skill set, personality, um, and background experience in job
Yeah,
duty. When you're
yeah,
overseeing a few different customer service representatives within a department, you might be looking at um, retention stats and how you're going to move the needle on that, or gauging the customer service satisfaction levels or net promoter score, and then trying to come up with a plan for how you're going to move the needle. And that's a different skill set than someone whose job is to build that relationship and nurture that client, round out the account, provide good advice. And there's definitely some overlap there. But I found that when it comes to that customer service manager role, that there's definitely a level of analyzing data, being able to run a report and read it and understand what it's forecasting, and then being able to help come up with a plan around, okay, what are we going to do with this to tweak those numbers a little bit. And the cool thing about retention is that you may only have to move the needle a half a percent or a percent or a few percentages to see a really big difference. But
absolutely, yeah.
so how does your customer service team feel about cross sales and upsells and rounding out accounts? Like if if we were a fly on the wall, like what would they?
Oh, they love it. It takes time. I would say that it's a constant. As a leader of the organization, you must constantly be speaking about it. But more than that, showing them the value and focusing out. The value is, what's the value for the client? What's the value? Because it's not about me, it's about you. And so if you're constantly speaking that way and showing up that way, because we can say all we want and tell our team to do certain things, but if we're not showing up that way, they're not going to do it either. My team, I have to say, again, a lot of it, maybe this is what I did, but a lot of promotion. Lots of little promotions, because I've learned that, again, what plays in people's favorite radio station is what's in it for me. And so if there's something in it for them, and they are givers, so it's like, what's in it for the client? And I paint that picture. Imagine, how in the event of a loss, what that would mean to that client if we're not constantly reviewing and upgrading, cross-selling, so we have a scorecard that specifically this year was built, and it focuses on the upgrade, the cross-sell. It focuses on the review. What the difference between a successful review and an attempt. And so there's keys, right? To like, this is an attempt, this is a success. And I think it just takes time for it to continue to just round and round. And, when I share numbers now, I say, here's what we have. Our average is, 1.7 per call per customer. Well, I mean, next year, don't we want to hit 1.8, or whatever? I mean, the goal would be to get to, 2.5 policies per customer, right? But I think teaching them what that means. I'm not afraid of sharing the information. So I think that has been impactful for my team to really understand what that means.
That helps give them a sense of ownership when they understand the bigger picture.
Yes.
Let's be real, 1.8, that's a, murky enough number for the rest of us to have to unpack, but it's a really crucial part of an agency's health or wellness check. And
absolutely.
2.5 is certainly a lofty goal to be able to get to on an average basis, but every single client they get to a 2 or a 3 is a win. And they're helping set someone up for success in the future, because we just don't know what's around the corner. And this phone call, this moment that we're on the conversation with the client now, this is our chance to try to stick a Band-Aid on things that need a Band-Aid and fix things before they break later. And it can feel a little awkward, I think, having a cross-sale or upsell conversation for someone who's new to it, for someone who's a CSR, for someone who doesn't want to feel pushy. But one thing that's more awkward than that is having to tell someone that their claim isn't covered because they didn't have a coverage that would have kicked in this situation. So it's definitely a coaching process.
It's definitely a coaching process. That's why when we have, for us, our director of welcome, how they start learning how to do this is the referral rewards program. So their scorecard looks a little bit different, because they're assisting people with basic things, but they get to learn to ask about a Google review and send them a link to give us a review on that. What more can we do for you? Oh, you're great. Thank you. Oh, well, do you mind helping me? So it's always like, what can I do for you? And then, can you do this for me, basically? And so they start to learn how to ask for more or give more information. Once they get to the seat of, an account manager, they're pretty trained to ask for more or give more information.
And I love that you have your customer service department segmented a little bit, because you have people that are working with new accounts and new clients that just came on board to the agency to welcome them and make sure that they're having that that wow moment, checking in, making sure everything is okay. And then you also have people that are working those renewals, the clients who have been with you for a while and have made it through that onboarding process. And when a client switches over to the agency, that first 90 days is actually pretty rocky from a statistical standpoint, because their other agent is probably trying to win them back. And
Yes.
they may have a telematics discount that falls off, or a home inspection that comes back. And there's things that can go wrong in that first 90 days.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like you found that to be a win.
Oh yeah. I mean, we got to get out there, and I know a lot of people don't believe in it. I don't know. I love shiny objects. So, and I like surprises. So I like to send, this little welcome kits with the shiny, envelopes and things like that. Just something that makes us different. And even with these conversations, I talked to so many friends in the industry that I'm like, Patty, stop doing that. That's such a waste of money, or such a waste of this. And I'm like, you're not doing it anymore? No, perfect.
Then I'll keep doing it.
I just keep doing it.
Thanks for the hint.
Thanks.
What a little special touch. Well, what about the producers and the new business side of things? When you're interviewing a producer, what are some of the things that you're looking for that's a clue that would tell you whether or not this person might be the right fit for that role in your agency?
Well, I have to be very transparent to you right now, because I cannot say for the first time this year is that I've been targeting specifically producers. I didn't know the difference. So, hey, for those of you that are out there, there's hope. It's taken me this many years. I think the current two quote unquote dedicated sales, because I believe there's a difference between inside sales and producers. Okay. My people are inside sales, because they were developed within the agency.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been coached and guided, and they've taken training in how to become a dedicated sales. I tried, I gave the opportunity to several people, and some said, no, Patty, I'd rather like just be chill and do customer service and I'll still sell when I have that opportunity. So this last year and this year, we've been practicing on like, great, ask for the cross sell, but give it to the salesperson. Ask for the cross sell, but give it to the sales.
Yes.
So that those are my inside sales. What I found, the traits that I found within them is that they're competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So any of the other little, even within our, the competitions that we have here, or not competition, that's the wrong word, but can't think of it, but contest.
A contest.
Like a promotional contest that we have within the agency. You'd see the people within your team who always end up, winning or leading, or they're like, I want to say my inside sales, one of them, money does not motivate her. Winning motivates her. And so she's learned now that, I can also make more money by doing this. To look for a producer, what I have found now is that it needs to be someone that can regulate themselves. Like they have these, goal setters, like people that set their own goals. They do have, dreams, and they decide to get to a certain point. They don't need someone that's constantly motivating them or inspiring them. They're finding that themselves. Like they know who they are. They know what they want in life. And money is a motivator for a producer. But that's simply because they enjoy a lot of other things in life. And so they want to be able to take a vacation. They want to go play. And selling supports that.
It does. And it gives you that opportunity to influence your own paycheck.
Exactly.
You see it reflected every month or every couple of weeks when you get that paycheck. You see that hard work coming to fruition. And I think it's a challenge too for producers, because there is those ups and those downs. And I don't think it's easy to be a licensed insurance sales professional, because you could have a rock star month. It could be your best record-breaking month ever. And on the first of the next month, you're back to zero and you have to climb that mountain again. And I think that takes a mental fortitude and a resilience to just rinse and repeat every 30 days. I don't think that's easy.
It's not easy. And in fact, this year, next month, we have March 20th, we have one of our clients who does financial planning. I'm setting up a series of just a few of our clients, just kind of inviting them back and having them kind of coach our team and how, life insurance, how to, I guess I sell it, right? And I know about all these things, but it's nicer. And I think they may listen a little bit better learning it from someone else. But about financial planning and how to plan to purchase the property and, how to save. And I think those things are very, very important, particularly again, with that, my team can earn commission, whether they're in customer service or not, or sales. But learning what to do with that extra income,
That's a huge opportunity to step into a mentorship role by giving our teams opportunities to grow personally and not just professionally. And the healthier they are outside of work, the happier they are outside of work, the more secure that they feel in their finances outside of work, the more confident and motivated they'll be when they step inside the office every morning and they have that list of clients in front of them that they need to call or that list of internet leads that they need to work. And it goes a long way, really, but for the sales and the service side, being able to provide that additional little extra, whether it's books that you're reading together, which I know you guys have a really great program for, we should talk to you about, and then having industry experts to come in and teach them things about real estate or saving or paying off a credit card. And those are the things that I kind of wish that I had worked in an environment like that when I was starting out my career. Because I know I would have been that sponge that would have soaked it all up. And so I think you're really uniquely positioned to be able to pass those things along and pay it forward. So.
Yeah. I would hope so, right? Because I feel that my team, if I can bring all that to them, then imagine also what they can give back to those clients that they're serving. Because a lot of the times when clients call you and you're talking about homeowners or you're talking about an umbrella, most of these clients have life experience because they either in a very good financial position or they're educated. And so if our team is not understanding what it takes to be able to position yourself to be there, sometimes it's you're selling a product that you haven't experienced yourself. And so being able to understand what it takes, what it took for that client, then maybe as you're having a conversation, one, you may have a little more empathy and say, yes, I want to support you protecting what you worked so hard for. And it's a progression. It's not easy. It's hard. Most of the team that I have currently, obviously they started from, just doing mail and stamping back in the day and, a lot of those things, and they've come a long way. So it takes time to really season an agent or an account manager.
What are some of the things that you've found keep a licensed insurance professional from taking that step into looking at insurance as a career and part of their identity? Like, what are some of the things that make it hard for insurance professionals to embrace it as a career instead of just a job?
Not understanding really what we are doing. I feel that initially, most people that come to work at an insurance, if it's a receptionist or customer service, what's customer service, right? Like McDonald's or anything like that. So coming in, it's just a job. It's just, something to get income and pay bills and things like that. But once they're in, I feel that for us as leaders is to really coach and teach them what it means. I mean, I know there's some products out there that will train about insurance and what it means, but I've seen some product where, just explaining how different, like the millennials work or how the mentality, how people work. That's great. And also, how about I don't know, just breaking down a policy coverage, breaking down, giving examples, life examples. They got to understand that their position is so important and so key, so critical. So, like, to me, this is one of the best careers ever. I mean, yes, it's kind of sad. Honestly, I say it all the time too, but most of us say, oh, yeah, I landed in insurance by accident. Right? But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, for those of us that, yes, no one else was in insurance, but once we discover what insurance meant for people, because we understand clearly what health insurance does. I mean, if I get sick, it pays for me to go to a doctor. If I get sick and it needs surgery, and so doing the same thing when someone has an accident and they don't have enough coverage, and they work very hard for 20 years to buy a house, and someone can just come and take it away. And so I think when you understand that, it becomes a career.
And it's
and it also not only go ahead.
It is such an amazing career. I feel so blessed that I did stumble onto it by accident, and it makes me really motivated to try to help trailblaze a path where, like, one day women won't just be like randomly stumbling into insurance by accident because they were one of the lucky ones that happened to have a friend that told them about it. I want to change that narrative. It's so much more commonplace for someone to pursue this career earlier on because of how life-changing it can be.
Yeah. Or like what you were just saying, I remember years ago, I was talking to someone and they said, you know why women fall into working in the insurance industry? And I'm like, I mean, no. Why? I mean, what is it, right? And because they're caretakers, like they're so loving. And so that's why for a long time it appeared that men would be primarily the owner of an agency, and then their staff was mainly women because they took care of their clients and in a more loving and kind way. And I think of it, I think that part of it is that, but now imagine doing much more than that. We're not just caretakers or loving and kind. I mean, we're all those things, and we're business women. We can understand a lot of the things that are happening, but not only that, we care enough to take care of people's assets. And we can, because of it, obviously the income that comes with it, it's allows us to do so much more in our life too.
It does. And Patty, if you were talking to someone who was debating if they were going to go into insurance and follow this path or try a different industry, what are some of the things you would share with them about why you love it so much as a career? Like, what has it done for you that's made you stay in it so long and such a big fan of it after all of these years? Yeah.
Gosh, it has provided so much. For example, just freedom to, even though I work many hours, my kids, I cannot tell you, I went to their games, even if I was sweating getting there and then finishing up a game, coming back. So it gave me freedom to see my kids do the activities that they wanted to do. It gave me financially supported my children to have to be in a school that I dreamed of being in, higher education for my kids, being able to just take them to different museums and travel. It has done so much for personally for my family, and providing a different experience of life than what I had growing up. It has extended to my siblings and my mom. My mom lives with me now, and just being able to have a caregiver for her at home, and not only that, truly my own team, the extension that it has, really able to provide additional, like higher education and support some of their dreams. And then our community, like being able to give back to our community and, gosh, a meal or a blanket or a backpack, or just really encouraging kids to read, and not only just to do well for themselves, but to do well for themselves because they get to come back and give it back to other people. And so it's so much, like, how can that, not love it? I've seen clients get into so much trouble because of a car accident. And my gosh, to be able to say, yep, your umbrella is going to pay $1 million. And here's the other. I had a client that literally, we had this conversation on Monday. He said, Patty, I love insurance so much. Give me a $5 million umbrella. It was the funniest thing. I said, can I get you on video? But what happened when his daughter was 16, we talked to him about an umbrella, and this was the reason for it. Daughter's way gone, and he was involved in an accident that he was not at fault. But I'll spare you the story. Our policy paid out 1.2 million.
Wow.
So he's a fan of insurance today.
Oh, thank goodness. That is huge. And it is scary, the things that can happen, and we want to be there and with the right coverage in place so that we can have good news to deliver and take some stress away. And that must have been I think saying some stress is probably underestimating what that guy was.
Yeah, especially when he worked very hard and owns about 10 properties, so that can be scary.
It is scary. I love what you said about a client saying, Patty, I love insurance, because that's my goal. I'd love to see the day where, are growing up saying that their career aspiration is to be an insurance agent. Clients are saying things like, we love insurance. And that's what I love about your agency and what you and your team are doing, Patty, because you're changing the narrative and the story about like who can be an insurance agent, why you should be an insurance agent, how you can help people, what it means for your life and for your family and the people that you care about. And so thanks for being such a positive influence on the industry and helping people plant their feet in this amazing career that's done so much for you and for myself and so many other people that we know. And I think we can all just learn so much about the potential in insurance is huge because we have this unlimited income earning potential. We could take it through so many different verticals in commercial or personal or life and health. And so there's all of these avenues, but we also have this just this unicorn opportunity to change so many lives. So it's just really inspiring to hear a little bit of your story. I know we probably just scratched the surface of what you guys are doing. So before we sign off, Patty, is there anything that you want to add or anything else you want to share about just things that you've learned with our audience or any advice you'd share?
Well, thank you for having me. I hope that this really inspires or just really solidifies for some people that may be doubting to go in. Don't be afraid. You have honestly nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Because if today you don't have your own agency, you haven't started, you don't have it anyway. So there's nothing to lose other than to take that action and move forward. In this industry, we're so blessed because there's so many of us that are willing to support. So I would just say, don't let your dream die. Just don't let it die. Do whatever it takes, because I tell you what, everyone has already been, you've already been given what it takes. The gift is within you. You just have to let it just unleash.
That's so inspiring. And so thank you for encouraging me and all of the people listening and giving us that extra spark of motivation today. And agents, I know that you have this entrepreneurial spirit inside of you already, but sometimes just like coming alongside each other and brainstorming, getting ideas, hearing what's working for other people can make such a big difference. So Patty, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to come on the show and share with all of us. I loved so much what you said about, I've never worked so hard, but I've never loved it so much. And something I know I can identify with. And so thanks for being a positive influence in the insurance industry and giving us all some really great tips about things we can do to just help boost our agency to the next level as we keep working through our goals this year.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Hope this helps.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, agents. This is Katlyn Eggar and Patty Lares signing off until next time. Have a wonderful week.
Bye.